Good morning. Hayom Yom, Tes Zayin Elul. So there's a very interesting passage in the Talmud. The Gemara is discussing murder, and the Gemara says that when you kill someone, God forbid, so it's not just pretty bad, but the magnitude of the sin is unimaginable. And it's horrible, and it's horrific, and it's unforgivable. And it says when you kill someone, you haven't just killed them, you haven't just wronged them, but you carry a massive burden of guilt on your shoulders because you have wronged them and their zare and their potential children, which could have numbered in the thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even in the millions given enough time. And you have wronged them and their zare ad seif ha'olam, till the end of the world, till the end of time. Anyone who possibly would have emerged from them, you kill them all, you wrong them all. And basically when you kill one person, you're not just killing one person, but you're killing so many people, you're killing a whole world of people. And then the Gemara goes on to say something very interesting. It says that God created the world in a very interesting way. God created all of humanity from one person, from one man known as Adam. Instead of creating 10 original people or 20 original people or 30 original people, he created us all from one person, from Adam, and he didn't even create Adam and Eve. He didn't create a man and a woman. Instead, he created Adam, and from Adam he made Eve, and then we were all born. So in other words, all of us emerged from Adam, all of us carry Adam's genes. And the Gemara says that Hashem did this for two reasons. He wanted to teach us two things. The first reason why he did this is that Hashem did not want anyone to feel superior to anybody else. It says Hashem didn't want any race to feel superior to any other race. Hashem didn't want any ethnicity to feel superior to any other ethnicity. Hashem didn't want any person or family to feel superior to any other family. And if originally there was multiple people, if there's 10 people or 20 people, or even if there's just 2 people, so some people and some families and some races and some ethnicities would say, we come from the superior genes. We come from the superior person. We got that person's blood. We got that person's genes. And they would say, we got Adam's genes and you guys got Eve's genes. Or vice versa, they would say, we got Eve's superior genes and you guys got Adam's genes. And to avoid all of that, to avoid all that kind of, all that, so Hashem created all of us from one person, from Adam, that we all share the same genes. We all have one father. So that's reason number one, says the Talmud. Reason number two, says the Talmud, is that Hashem was showing us and teaching us something very powerful. And that is, when you kill someone, so you might think you've just killed one person, what's the big deal? There's billions of people. And he says, no. The same way that you understand that if you would have killed Adam, you would have wiped out humanity. So it's showing you that every person is just as valuable. Every person is like an atom. Every person is a whole world. And if you kill one person, it's like you've killed the whole world. And if you save one Jewish life, it's like you've saved the entire world. That's what the Talmud says. Very radical statement. And the Talmud tells us the value, the extreme value we place on human life. And this is where the extreme Jewish value of human life comes from, because we think that losing one life is like losing the entire world, and saving one life is like saving the entire world. Now, in today's Hayom Yom, the Rebbe says, Rabbeinu hazakein peresh, maimer kol hamakayim nefesh achas miyisrael ki'ilu kiyam eilam malei. So the Alter Rebbe came along, and the Alter Rebbe gave a different interpretation, a little bit less of a literal interpretation, on this statement of the Talmud, on the statement which says that if you save one life, it's like you saved the whole world. And the Alter Rebbe explained that the reason why we view one person as the whole world is not just because, if given time, he's going to produce a lot of babies, and when you kill him, you lost that, and you're not going to have all those babies. The Alter Rebbe said, really, every person, even as they are now, it's not just in the future they're going to produce babies, even the way they exist now, actually is a lot more than just themselves, or a lot more than one person. And he explained that in Kabbalah, there's something known as Adam Kadmon, which translates literally as the original man, or the supreme man, or the supernal man. And it's obviously not actually talking about a man. It's a name, it's a description for one of the spiritual levels, one of the spiritual worlds. For the first of all the spiritual levels, for the first spiritual level of existence, the first spiritual level after the Tzimtzum, the first spiritual level and world in the creative process is known as Adam Kadmon, the supernal man. And it says that in Adam Kadmon, in the level of Adam Kadmon, in that world, so everything which exists around us, everything which exists in the physical and spiritual world, everything exists there, but everything exists in pure potential. Everything exists in its seminal state, in its pure state, in its potential state. And everything we see around us, every spiritual entity which comes into existence, every physical entity which comes into existence, me, the trees, the people, the houses, all of it, this book, all of it, this is the way it comes out in developed form. This is the way it emerges from Adam Kadmon. But all of these things exist in a more seminal way, in a pure way, in potential, all these things exist in Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmon is where everything exists in a way of potential. And since everything there only exists in the way of potential, therefore everything could coexist there. It's when things become developed and emerge and become cut off from everything else, that everything becomes cut off and becomes independent and trapped in its own rigid definitions. And this becomes this, I become this, and we're all at odds with each other, and we all exist independently and cut off from each other. Now, the reason why the first man, Adam, was called Adam is because, which is the same word, Adam Kadmon and Adam, is because Adam embodies in human form the energy of this level of Adam Kadmon. Because Adam, which was the first man, so he contained all of humanity and all of human souls and all of human experience within himself, within his own heart, within his own soul, within his own being. And more than that, he didn't just contain all of humanity within himself, but it actually says that man is unique, that man contains the whole world within himself. And this is why if we make internal changes, that actually has effects in the external world around us, because really the external world is just mirroring us, and we really contain the whole world within us to a certain degree. And Adam, which contained all of humanity, so he really contained within himself the entire world and all of existence. So he was in human form, kind of, in our physical world, he was the Adam Kadmon equivalent. He was embodying the energy of Adam Kadmon. He was the way everything in the universe and every possible human kind of coexisted in one human, all put together in one person. And he was a little bit like, if you ever read The Giver, so the Giver guy who kind of contains all of human experience within himself in one person, he pumps it all in. So that was what Adam was like. He experienced and felt and was this like superhuman where every human experience, every human mind, every human heart was all put together into one person, and he was in Neshama Klalis. He contained all of humanity within him. Then, though, when Adam had children, so when Adam had, let's say, 2 children or 4 children or 5 children, so humanity got split amongst these souls, and the original souls were very powerful souls, all of them, because all of them still contained a lot of souls within them, but no soul was ever as powerful as Adam. And he now split humanity amongst 2 souls or amongst 5 souls. And then when they had children, they split it further and further and further along. And as time goes on, though, the souls become more and more split and more whittled down. And that's where you read the Sederis comes from. That's why we're all very weak souls nowadays. But in any event, so that's the concept. Now, it says that besides for this process existing within humanity, that there was Adam, who's this collective soul, and then as time goes on, souls become more developed and more cut off from the rest of the souls. So it says every human within himself, his soul is multidimensional, not multidimensional, it's multi-layered. And at the core of our soul, so the core of our soul is known as, or the Yechida, or in this context, the Adam within our soul. So there, our soul is more Kabbalistic. And there, our soul is actually tapped into and connected with all other souls and all the other spiritual energies in the world. But then there's the way we exist on our most superficial level, our most superficial layer, on our conscious level, where over there we're cut off from all other souls and all other spiritual energies in the world, and we're just us. So in that way, so when you're viewing yourself or when you're viewing another human, you can either look at them as they are externally or superficially, and you just see the way they're just them and they're nothing else. And then if you hurt them or you help them or you kill them or you save their life, you're just hurting this one person. Or, says the Alter Rebbe, if a Yidden darf man gucken, wie stehen im Achshavak dumme de Adam Kadmon. Or you can look at another person, you can look at another Jew, you can look at yourself, you can look at the core of his soul, you can look at the way he exists and the way he stands in the world of Adam Kadmon. And over there, when dort steht jeder Neshama mit alle Deides, was kommen heraus von ihr, bis bias Moshiach El Tzedek. And he says that the way a soul exists over there, the way a person exists in that state, the way a person exists on that level, so they're not just them. They're not just this one little entity. They coexist with and they're made up of all the potential within them, all the souls which will emerge from them in the future. And it's not just they'll have babies in the future. Right now, before that's cut off from them, or before those cut off people exist, in this potential state, you actually are made up of all those energies. And therefore, he says every person is not just one person. They are made up of all the souls which will eventually emerge from them till the end of time, till the coming of Moshiach. And the reason why he says that, he says till the coming of Moshiach, is because it says in Gemara that there's a chamber in heaven full of souls, and when all those souls are born, when that chamber is emptied, Moshiach will come. And this is actually why one of the reasons why the Rebbe was very into people having children, and one of the ways you can actually bring Moshiach is by having children, funnily enough. And a mitzvah of Moshiach is to have a lot of children. And so when all the souls are born out of that chamber, Moshiach will come. So in other words, though, apparently when Moshiach comes, there's no more new souls to be born. So it just says you contain all the souls within you, and all the souls within you means till the time of Moshiach. But in any event, he says that's the way you have to look at a person. And when you look at a person that way, when you see it's not just one person, it's all these people that are going to emerge from him. This person is all those people, basically. So as men tut giden atayva tut men atayva ati al neshamas as called. He says when you do someone a favor, you're not just doing them a favor, which is nice, but that has limited value. You're doing a favor for all the people that will ever emerge from this person till the end of time. So in other words, generally when you do someone a favor or you hurt someone, because even though it's true as well, most of us never have the opportunity to kill someone or to save someone's life. So while all these ideas would be tenfold if you're killing someone or saving someone's life, that usually doesn't happen. What happens to us on a daily basis, though, is we have the potential to hurt someone or to help someone and do someone a favor. And when we hurt someone and do someone a favor, so even though it's negative to hurt someone and it's nice to do someone a favor, it has limited value again, because even though that person will carry the hurt with them and the wound with them for the rest of their life, maybe, the small hurt, or they'll carry the favor with them and the help you've given them for the rest of their life, that is limited value because they're one person and they'll die in a couple of years, let's say, and the effects of it are gone. But once you realize that this person is actually made up of all the people who will ever emerge from them. So in other words, helping them is huge because you're helping them, but also that means that let's say all the descendants they have, whatever positive effect you had on this person and how you've uplifted this person and helped that person, and they're carrying your positivity and your favor with them, that means all the thousands and 10,000, hundreds of thousands of people which will emerge from them will all have step up in life, will all be carrying that positivity with them. And likewise, if you hurt someone or put someone down and pain someone and give someone a scar and a scratch, you haven't just scarred and scratched this human, but all the hundreds of thousands of humans and millions of humans which will emerge from them will all carry this wound, will all carry this scratch. And therefore, all our actions are blown up. Now, what's very interesting about this Hayom Yom, though, is that we are the last generation of Galus, which would seem to mean that there are no souls really within us, or the last few, and therefore we're not such big people, we're just us, kind of. So it's a little bit funny, but in any event. So God bless you and have a wonderful day.